In the next track today, just before the main keynote of Login Wozniak, we have one more track here, will be startup trends and education. And education has been disrupted quite heavily recently, and we will see just how Justinas will give a presentation on the trends in education and what kind of startups are appearing there. And then we'll see a few cases from here which are happening in Lithuania. So I'd like to invite on stage Justinas, who is the co-founder of Tobulėtuvė, which is like a Skillshare workshop session before. And he will give an amazing presentation on startup trends in education.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Justinas. I'm here to talk to you about the exciting things happening in education today. I know that many of you were not too happy with your studies. I mean, some of you have bad lectures, some of you were just not satisfied with the quality of education you got, and some of you chose the bad profession. And I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in science and physics, but I know that that is not my only calling, at least not the only one. And I know that most of you have other callings and other interests, and this makes us an everlasting students. And this is why the field of education is so interesting today. In this presentation, as this is a startup fair, I will try to talk a lot more on facts, on monetization methods, on types of educational startups today in the world, and of course at the end we'll talk a little bit about the future trends. And as many of these presentations do, I'll start my presentation with a quote. And most of these presentations about educational things begin with a quote of the wonderful writer Mark Twain. And that quote is, "College is a place where professors lecture notes go to students' lecture notes without passing through a process of either." However, I want to base my today's presentation on something more optimistic, although this may be true in some cases. And I want to base my presentation on a quote of the great entrepreneur Henry Ford. And he has said, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. So, what's this hype is all about education? To understand that, we have to understand the problems that education system faces today. And those problems are, first of all, it's money. Because in the last 30 years, the price of college studies in the US has risen by 1,210%. This is preposterous. And actually, recently, the student debt in America have exceeded $1 trillion. This is plainly stupid. And I'm sorry I don't have statistics on Europe, but we have our share of financial problems here too. And this is especially bad when you take in consideration that the effectiveness of this educational system is questioned every day. And one of the great science speakers of today, Neil deGrasse Tyson, has recently posted a message on Twitter saying that the best colleges admit only successful students, offering no evidence the college itself forced the students' later success. The other thing is that it's no secret that the current system of education is based on very old British colonial principles, and those principles are based on productivity and standardization, because in those times the government needed to produce a lot of workers in the fastest ways possible. And I mean productivity in a bad way, and we'll explain that later. And this is horrible, because we still take thousands of students in schools, thousands of students in universities, and treat them like one single medium. And there is no better way to deny them of their passion and of their talents, of the qualities that should be treated as the greatest treasure from the youngest age. And we need individualization and we need personalization, and this comes from exactly these companies I will talk about later. And of course there is speed. Today's world is all about speed. I mean, we need to learn fast and also understand fast. And speed is an essential part of good productivity. And what I mean by bad productivity is that today the educational world is based on memorization. And that may seem a good idea at that moment, but I mean, it gives such short-term results, and in long term, the results are actually horrible and slows down the process a lot. And the good productivity is when we base our education on understanding and solving questions. And that may take a little bit longer in the moment, but will pay off greatly in future. And so we all know that actually a fast adaptability is not the property of educational system today. When we take in consideration that iPhone was released and was introduced in 2007, and that takes 12 years for a student to finish school, 4 more years for a student to finish bachelor degrees, and 2 more for masters for some of us, it becomes obvious that that the world that students started learning in is not the same that they finish his studies. So these are the 3 problems. And in this presentation, we'll go over some types of educational startups and companies who are innovating in this field and who are showing some really good results. And we will start with MOOCs. And MOOCs are massive open online courses. And in this picture, you see actually Sebastian Twain. He is, for those who don't know, he is a lecturer at Stanford University. He is Google vice president, one of the Google vice presidents. He is one of the creators of Google Autonomous Car, and he also created one of the main platforms of massive open online courses, MOOCs. So, and the other 2 players in this field who are worth noticing are Coursera and Udacity. Coursera and edX, because Udacity was created by Sebastian Twain. And edX is created by MIT and Harvard. It's a non-profit organization, and MIT and Harvard are investing $60 million in developing the system. And Coursera already has 3 million users, of whom 1.7 have already signed for at least 1 class. Monetization has been a big problem for such startups like Coursera and Udacity recently, because the only way for them to monetize was to connect employees and their students, and also sometimes give diploma certification. But a lot has changed in recent months, because both Coursera and Udacity began developing courses with universities to give real college credit for those courses. I mean, these are not the high-level courses, but something like, for example, algebra, where you have huge classes and there is none student-teacher connection. So it's obvious that it is smart to pay 1 teacher to create a great course on for example, algebra, than to pay 200 teachers for each one, to pay each one of 200 teachers to teach a huge class, which is not productive and may be taught not in the best way. A huge myth often associated with MOOCs is that they are much easier than for example, those same college classes, but that cannot be more false, because everyone who tried Coursera, Udacity, or especially edX knows that they are hard. Yeah, freaking hard. I mean, at Coursera you need to do tests, you need to do assignments, reading, writing. At one course I had to produce a prototype actually. So there is a lot of work in there. And the question often asked, will MOOCs replace traditional studies? Because it seems that they have all the right qualities for that. But actually my answer is no. They can definitely improve those university courses. They can definitely improve the work at the universities, because they can remove unprofessional lectures. They can remove, bring the price of education lower, and so on and so on. So on paper it may seem so. But there is a big but, and the big but is what's the best university? What's the best school in the world today? I mean, one might say it's Stanford, one Harvard, MIT, Princeton, Yale, or some other. But actually, no. The best school ever is actually Hogwarts. And for those who are out of this world, Hogwarts is a school of wizardry from Harry Potter. And why is it the best school ever? Because it's freaking awesome. I mean, for real. Then they do not need no iPhones or iPads to be awesome. And they're awesome because they have magic. And I am actually not talking about the magic of Harry Potter. I'm actually talking about the magic that happens when passionate people come together to learn with each other. And no MOOC, no online course will ever change that, and that's for sure. But if you could think of a way to bring that awesomeness to the internet, you can be a big winner here. So let's jump to another category, and let's talk more about people teaching people. So let's call this category skill sharing. And the biggest player in virtual world naturally is YouTube, because we all seen YouTube videos with teaching tutorials. But let's talk about another company, a company called Skillshare. It's a company for sharing your knowledge, actually, yes, because world of education does not consist only of these traditional subjects like math, economy, sciences, and so on and so on. I mean, world of education is much wider, and we should not think about it in such constraints. There are so many things to learn. I mean, you want to learn to fix a bike, for example. There is a class for that on Skillshare. You wanted to learn to cook meatballs or to design your own sneakers. There are classes for that on Skillshare. And Skillshare is really doing very well on monetizing, because they create a possibility for teachers to earn really good money. Just recently, a teacher at Skillshare who teaches Ruby development earned $100,000 a year just for Skillshare classes. So yeah, and talking about teachers, let's jump to another category of basic education. And the teacher who did the biggest influence on the world in the recent years is Salman Khan. And in the category of basic education, I want to talk about his product, Khan Academy. It started by Salman Khan just putting a couple of lectures on YouTube for his cousins. But now it grew to a huge platform with thousands of subjects, with game mechanics, with class data given out to teachers, and so on and so on. And it really makes a big difference in a class. It's worth noticing that Khan Academy is actually a great propagator of flipping the classroom. And that means that lecturing can be done by internet, can be done by technologies. And this allows teachers to do more interactive stuff with students. And this is actually a great field for innovation, still for young companies. Okay, let's go on to another category which I like to call startup schools. And these schools are now based in most of the big startup cities in the world. They are schools, unlike any I've mentioned before, they have real-world campuses. And the greatest thing about them that you learn with other people who are passionate and into the thing they are learning. And we all know that it is that much easier to learn something than you know that people surrounding you are passionate and want to learn as much as you do. Let's jump to some examples in this category. For example, General Assembly. It's a startup who already has collected more than $14 million, and they have campuses in 8 cities of the world. I mean, these schools give out weekend workshops, normal lessons, full-out 3-month courses, everything you need to become a great entrepreneur. And while General Assembly is situated in 8 cities of the world, for example, Starters League is situated in Chicago. And unlike General Assembly, they are not coming to our city, but actually inviting you to come to Chicago, to the center of Chicago, to their great campus and learn there. And they have 5 main courses for developers and designers. And the thing is that you, after 3 months in this school, you get full knowledge needed to actually go out and try to reach your dreams, try to reach your entrepreneurial dreams. Okay, but actually the one greatest thing about these schools and products I mentioned earlier is this. On a conference, South by Southwest, just a month ago, one of the greatest entrepreneurs today, or perhaps the greatest entrepreneur today, Elon Musk, if you don't know him, he co-founded PayPal, now does an amazing job at Tesla Motors and also SpaceX and also Solar City and so on and so on. So he was asked on that conference, what has been your biggest mistake? And his answer was this: So the biggest in general I've made and I'm trying to correct is that I put too much weight on talent and not personality. It actually matters whether someone has a good heart. And the coolest thing about these schools, startup schools and these products is that now startups can base their hiring decisions not only on the experience of someone, not only of their professional knowledge, but actually on that if that person is just a good person who has a good personality, because nowadays learning is affordable and effective money-wise, not only for big companies and big corporations, but also for startups. We all know that great products are actually first built by great people and only second by great specialists. So let's move on to something more classical, online courses. And actually there's nothing classical about this category. We all know that coding is the skill of the future, skill of today actually. And Code Academy is one of the great innovators here. They use a lot of gamification methods to motivate their students, and I mean, you still need a lot of self-motivation, but after you get a badge with a cool robot on it saying that you are a master of CSS, it becomes pretty easy to continue your studies. Treehouse, on the other hand, gives out paid lectures, and most of the time it's really worth your money, because with so many startups in this field, you can really see how the quality of lessons, the interactive stuff, everything is rising, and they already accumulated $12.4 million in investments, and they are doing great because now they not only expanding to a people market, but also to corporations market, and they already signed up a couple of big corporations to give them their classes. And I mean, this is worth noticing that not only people but also big corporations, companies, startups are waiting for this revolution in education. Next we have Voxy. Voxy is doing something really interesting in language learning. They are taking the content from your life, for example, movies, your conversations, even letters, songs you listen, and so on, and making that content into educational material. And this is how education becomes just a byproduct of your everyday life. And I mean, it's freaking great. Udemy is a big player now in online courses because, well, they're doing great money-wise, but top 10 of their lectures of their instructors earned $1.6 million in the last year in sales. So I mean, there is a lot of money in this industry. But the biggest money here is actually in educational tools. And educational tools may not be something hip, something cool. They not be doing some work, getting a lot of press attention, for example. But they're doing the dirty job, the job that needs to be done, and that has a lot of financial potential. And a great example here is 2U. 2U is working with universities to advertise, manage, and expand their online courses. I mean, it doesn't have any buzzwords in it, but it has a lot of financial potential, and they already have collected more than $90 million in investments. Newton is creating a system to personalize educational material for you. Edmodo is a social network for teachers and students. And both Newton and Edmodo has made $52 and $40 million in investments in recent years, respectively. So I mean, the big money is here actually. And as I promised, a couple of ideas of what's coming next. What's coming next? So the big problem now, and when I say problem, I mean business opportunity, is that we need a lot of university integration. There's these courses, there's these tools, and as I said, there are a lot of business opportunities here. Mobile is still not integrated greatly in this field, and it needs a lot of work to be done. Augmented reality can be used extensively in education. And I actually can't wait to see the first class done on Google Glasses, because, I mean, wow, there is a lot of potential for creativity there. And it will be very interesting to see how future generations will learn having all these tools. And the question often asked about this thing is this an evolution or revolution of education? And I want to try to answer that. Now we are building tools based on this model. We take new technologies and they put those new technologies on our old system. And this is called evolution. But perhaps we can take new technology and with that new amazing technology create a concept of new education, which is something really needed. And by this I just want to say that although there are a lot of great companies in this field, a lot of great people in this field, a lot of awesome products in the field, but the fact is that you still have a chance to change the game. So that's it. If you need company links which I mentioned in this field or my contacts, you can find everything right here. So thank you very much.